Dios ruega por nosotros pecadores, ahora y en la hora de nuestra muerte. Amén.
It wasn't just my son that day. People had their heads broken. People were stabbed in the stomach. They were savages. They weren't human beings. They were savages. And some bastard started shooting at whoever was there.
Daniel was wearing a Boca Juniors shirt. On the front it said, "I was born a Boca fan and will die a Boca fan." And one of the knife wounds that killed him was right in the middle of that slogan.
When I come here to see my son, I feel helpless. The murderer was never found. Nothing was done to find him.
Instead, with violence so widespread, the power of the hooligans, the Barras Bravas, at Boca and other clubs, has risen.
The Barra Brava was the group that cheered their team everywhere, and it became, I'd like to avoid calling it the armed group, it turned into the pressure group of a club.
Lito Pintos was once a Barra Brava. As a member of La Doce, the Boca Hooligans, he met Diego Maradona, the star player.
I'll give you an example of the power the hooligans have. One night, the hardcore Boca supporters forced the coach to give Maradona the ball and to make him captain with immediate effect. And Maradona became captain. Everybody passed the ball to him, Boca won the match, and went straight to the championship.
Lito and Diego are still friends. Even through Maradona's most controversial times. After the footballer's expulsion from the 1994 World Cup, Lito is filmed with him as he fires an air rifle at journalists.
Maradona is a man who comes from a shanty town. He understands what a Barra Brava is, what football hooligans are about.
And belonging to La Doce gives people like Lito the chance to move up the social ladder. Boca's current gang leader, Rafa, has access to fashionable places frequented by the likes of his idol, Diego Maradona.
We were with Diego the day before his farewell game. We told him we had a surprise for him. He wanted to know what. But we said, "You'll see at the match."
His surprise, arranged by Boca's top hooligan, was an illegal fireworks display.
It was fantastic. I'll be eternally grateful to Rafa. I thank everyone in the name of Rafa.
Barely a month later, violence spread onto the streets as the Argentinian economy collapsed. The protests were brutally suppressed and 4 people were killed. The government fell amid rioting and looting. There were rumors that some politicians hired mobs of hooligans for their own purposes.
A lot is said about La Doce. It's easy to blame football supporters. I don't deny some people might go. But it's not an organized group of hooligans. Obviously, politics and football go hand in hand, because politicians get themselves involved with football. Nowadays, with politicians discredited as they are in Argentina, it's not advantageous for us to be involved with them, or vice versa.
Those who have lost sons to the violence are less convinced.
The responsibility for the death of my son lies with the corrupt football authorities and politicians. Without them, there wouldn't be so much violence, because the perpetrators would be where they ought to be, in prison. The hooligans gave evidence in my case that football club presidents pay for their transport, their lawyers, and when they are arrested, they get them out.
For decades, Argentina's hooligans were subsidized by the clubs and the authorities, who used them as political gangs.
When I was at Barra Brava, and I don't deny that I was, because it was part of my life, we used to get given money for transport. On top of that, they also gave us tickets. Everyone knows that the tickets handed out by the football club are sold on. That's what funds the hooligans. That and the support of politicians and players.
When I was a player, we used to collect money to give to the supporters for banners and wine. But I won't tolerate someone telling a player, "Give me $20,000 because I support your team." Now that's being a supporter for money, not for passion. There's something you get now in Argentina. I'm totally against that.
There's always been speculation about the relationship between football club presidents and hooligans. There's a long history in which there was a relationship. Club presidents as well as politicians used to use the hooligans for their own purposes. But part of our new politics is to stop any contact with these sorts of people who base their power on violence.
Así que no es verdad que la dirigencia de Boca le da la entrada a los barra bravas y a los líderes barra bravas para que las revendan.
Well, perhaps I should say it in English. I've said it so many times. We do not give tickets to the hooligans.
Boca's president for the last 6 years is a millionaire businessman. The hooligans accuse Mauricio Macri of using them and the club for his political ambitions.
Boca la vidriera. Macri lo está usando a Boca, porque tiene otra ambición para ser presidente de la nación. Si Macri salía así chiquito, no lo conocía nadie Macri, así chiquito, era un empresario, pero así.
As a man who wants to devote years of his life to public service, Boca Juniors has been a great school. It has brought me close to the people and made me understand the logic of politics, because Boca is a very political club.